That was a smooth start.
Yeah. Did anybody recognize anything here?
Stunty?
Well, could it be like the guy who did the soundtrack for the Batman show?
No, he normally do like more free jazz, experimental jazz. It's not that. It's from 2009.
Okay.
It's from a Los Angeles producer who.
Oh, is it Carlos Nino?
Yes, it's Carlos Ninos. Yeah, he made more than 100 records that he produced on, and I also did some work with some stuff from Sonra, I think. But this one from 2009, he took some hip hop classics from a tribe called Quest. This one was from Slum Village, and made them into his startup music, kindly. So it's more sweet when we normally hear his stuff.
And hip hop is where he's coming from, anyways. His very earlier stuff in the late 90s was hip hop, like abstract hip hop or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Show the record, or is it the Awakening record?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
It looks like this.
Okay. Oh, I have seen that cover art, I think. But not
And as you can see, it will be on the OBC tomorrow.
Ah, okay.
I'm the next copy. That was why I had two of this one, and I was like, okay. And I think it was a good idea to play something for it. It's all tracks are a bit like this, but really, really nice to hear. Good for morning music for the Americans.
Yeah, exactly. To start the day with that song is absolutely tolerable.
But there's
If I
not
remember
much.
correctly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just said there's not much on the cover, but if you look inside, you have the.
If I remember correctly, the band I discovered him through was called Amon Contact. Is that it, Thomas?
I think you know more than I do know, but I think it's right. I met him in Los Angeles, and he was a really, really sweet man, and we spent evening together. I would really love to meet him again when I come to Los Angeles, because he was playing at a Michelin star restaurant where they serve sushi, and I came there and we fall in talk, and he didn't know anybody who knew as much as I do, and about the music that he liked, so we got good together.
Yeah, I can imagine. And he got free food for playing some music in a Michelin restaurant.
I got free food in there. They just kept on serving stuff for me. I was like, oh,
keep it coming.
Someone
right?
paid. Someone paid at one point somewhere.
Yeah, it was the restaurant. I knew the restaurant owner, not from there, but another restaurant he had. I didn't know about this one.
Nice.
But it was a good evening.
How was your week so far, Stunty?
It was all right. A lot of job, a lot of administrative stuff, and a lot of boring stuff, basically. But I did do a lot of online digging, and I got quite excited. There's a couple of records coming your way, Michael, for me.
Oh, no, Stunty. Hartmut will kill me.
No.
No. Yes.
Well, then he yeah, a few rabbit holes. It was like the funny thing is that the record that Thomas played, like this. It's funny. I thought of something else first because I was talking about what's his name. Someone help me out. Nelson Riddle, the guy who did the Batman theme. Yeah, and because that track started with some harp, and Nelson Riddle he did a lot of like soft jazz, elevator, exotica with harpa, and funnily enough, I've been discussing about that instrument a lot today and this week with other people asking me for recommendation. And I have an artist, one of the most interesting harpists in the world right now, coming to the music festival anyways. So I've been immersed in these kind of sounds right now.
Wow, that's amazing. Thomas, there's a question for you from Gerard Port. He goes to Aarhus next week. Are there good vinyl shops in Aarhus?
Aarhus.
Sorry.
No, all is good. You can spell it with a double A, so for what it will be Aarhus. But it's called Aarhus. I lived there for 6 years. It's it's one of the nicest cities in Denmark. It's smaller, much smaller than Copenhagen, but it's a really, really nice place to be. And they have good record shops, but I will recommend you go to Route 66 and then go to the top floor there. Route 66 is mostly new records. They have a little bit used one, but two guys called Black Something is on the first floor, and they have a really, really, really nice stock.
Okay, I hope that answers the question.
Everybody's happy.
Thomas. Hello, Douglas Gilbert. Stunty. So that was a smooth start from Thomas.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Are you ready to give us some music too?
No. I like Carlos Nino. I was just thinking about that was a smooth start. Like, this won't be as smooth. It's funny. It's a record I got in Den Bosch, and I don't know why I thought about it. Basically, I played it on my stream a couple of weeks ago, and it was quite a highlight. It's a Polish jazz record. but when I bought it, I thought it was something else, and now that I'm going to play the other side, it is something else. But basically, it's one of my favorite Polish labels, the Alma Art label, and it is quite intense music, but
Oh, let's get
don't
in.
we love it sometime, huh? It's
Sometimes. It always depends. We will see. We will
Yeah.
judge afterwards. smooth too, in a way.
Yeah, it was a sort of like ambientish quality to it, with like you could hear the chaos brewing behind it, and yeah, it's. I'm blown away by that record, I must say. I bought it because it was on my radar because it featured Andrzej Mitan and Tadeusz and Krzysztof Knittel, who are two great musicians from the Polish avant-garde scene of the 70s. So this was recorded in '83 and released in '83, I think. Yeah, and at the jazz festival, the Jazz Jamboree '83, and it's it's just extraordinary. Obviously, a little bit of a confrontational experience, but not too much. I'm happy to see from your side, Michael. And the addition is
the other
amazing.
songs go. The other songs go on like this.
So the next song is way harder and more electronic, and the whole previous side is way more like big band jazz, free jazz, spiritual, experimental. And I mean, look at this insert. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
already when you see that, you know
the whole
this is
cover art is beyond
Yeah.
criticism. Yeah.
Exactly like it sounds.
It's a seal screen jacket,
Mhm.
more or less homemade. The label Alma Art, I've been trying to get more releases from that label. They don't have a huge catalog, less than 20 releases, if I remember correctly, and they're not super expensive, but not cheap either. Some are expensive. This one was expensive, but there's like an edition. There's two editions. One that is not too expensive, and one that is crazy expensive, which is this one. Apparently, it's not totally clear. But weirdly enough, I got two other releases on that label in Sweden last week from a gentleman on the other coast of the country, and like weirdly enough, like an English guy who just moved to Sweden and who needed to sell his collection because he moved in a too small house. But when we started to talk about music, he has a band on the same label as Steve Davis with his Utopia Strong, so it was easy to negotiate after that. So,
Nice.
but you know how it is when you know of a label like that is interesting, but you never see the records, and suddenly you get one, and then you get a bunch of others. Now I'm in a rabbit hole.
Okay, and I know that everybody knows it. Stanti, how many are pressed? Have been pressed from?
I don't know, but
Not
probably like 1,000 or 2,000, not more than that.
Okay. But still, Thomas, you know this record? Did you ever heard of those guys?
Oh, but I love stuff like that. Also, when you have the chance to play it, you can play after that. You can get it like a release. It's a good one to get like everything down to a zero in somehow like. So those tracks are always amazing to have.
Stanti looks happy. Yeah, it seems to be amazing to have this record now.
Oh yeah. I'm. Sometimes like the way I do it, since I do this stream every week plus with you guys, but usually on the Friday, sometimes it's the first time I play a record I got. I did my research before, but so often it's like a revelation, or it's just okay, that was good, or blah blah blah. But this one was like really took me by surprise when I played it first. Usually I just play it a little bit to see if the sound is correct, if it's not too dirty, and to have a feel of what kind of track there are on the album, so that I can choose one to play in the stream. Often that's my first exposure to the record before I play it on my stream, and sometimes you don't know when you start to play a track and you think you're gonna play like 3 minutes, and then it becomes this huge thing, and suddenly you played 17 minutes of a track, and everyone is commenting like, oh wow, this is really something. But yeah.
Okay. Stanti put is open. What's your answer, Thomas?
Say you could play everything after this, but
I have a bunch of records here that were recorded in ABBA studio, so maybe.
But if there should be some, it will be like, I think this female voice is what the man voice was on the last track.
Thomas, this is one of your Lonely Island records, right?
Yeah, it's in top 100. It's
So you need a bigger island then,
yeah.
or larger.
I think this album is one that keep on giving. There's so many good tracks on it. This one I never played before tonight. I always play some other tracks. She was a gospel singer in church when she was young, and then she started to sing in bars, and her favorites were like Jill Scott Heron songs that she sung there. And
when you said, and then she was a gospel singer, and then she started to sing at bars, and then I said the next sentence will be, and then it went down, then it went downhill with.
Yeah, she only made this one album.
Only this one, okay.
Yeah. But if we have the chance, I'll just play a little bit from another song, which is the song I always play.
Before you do, can Stanti answer a question, please, before you start with the second? Do you know this record?
I know this record, yeah.
You like this record?
Yeah. It's good. It's I don't know if you remember. I played. I think it was maybe a year ago here in the stream. I played this low-res album called Blue Ramen.
Mm-hmm.
Blue Ramen, which is almost like an homage to this, or partly. This was one of the big influences. Sort of lounge, almost exotica soul jazz, and it's a great record.
Early to mid 70s, right? So krautrock time in a way, without any krautrock influence.
Oh, yeah, and the beginning of Photoshop, if you can see that.
Yeah, in a way it is. but again, only one record, because somebody in the stream in the gallery mentioned that. What a wonderful voice! You really have to say that. Sometimes it's just not explainable why only one record.
Yeah, earlier before we got on, I played a song for you. Say, oh, that's a romantic song. That's another track on the other side. But right now, I just play a little bit from my favorite song from the album that I often play when I play out.
Take no rides from any strangers. Watch out, watch out, watch out for the worthless few. Don't socialize with fancy guys. They'll leave you from the start, or soon you're old, too late for getting smart. People always try to tell you, baby, you'll be going far. Just take your time before you climb to grab that shining star. Soon you're old, too late, too late, too late in getting smart. Drop some acid, go to paradise. You'll be flying high. Wake up, find the devil standing there. You know you paid the price. thing to lose. Gonna pay some dues.
Yeah.
The red label?
All of it.
A green label. See, not red label.
Yeah, it came in a red and a green label. I'm not sure which one came first. I think they came at the same time, maybe.
Okay.
I sold a red label, so I thought that the green one was first until I
read otherwise. Yeah, those things happen. Stunty.
Mm.
Are you inspired now? You are always inspired in a way, right?
Yeah.
Now
always
try to be inspiring. Oh, what a look. Okay. nice one. Reminded me a bit of Gas. Don't know why, but somehow.
Well, it's playing with, contrary to Gas, this is way more minimalistic in a way, and yet it manages to be so ample, so wide, and so extremely cinematographical, which is one of the concerns of Eckhard Ehlers. I don't know how common that is for a German name. Michael, you will tell us.
Eckhard, the father of my first wife, his name was Eckhard. No, it's not that rare. It's a medieval name.
All right. Well, this is his first album from 2000 on the Mille Plateau label. Mille Plateau being a reference to Gilles Deleuze, the French philosopher who came up with the concept of rhythms, which I think this record is directly taking the concept from, as rhythms is about the interconnectivity between the horizontal interconnectivity of roots of different topics, different works, different art, and how they connect and work and emerge with something of its own. Obviously, this is sample based. He's had a pretty long career. He hasn't released anything, to the best of my knowledge, for the past 5 years. But this is my favorite project of his. He also did techno, or a version of techno under the name Auch, A-U-C-H.
Which means also, yeah.
Also, yeah, well. But this, amazingly, this is the kind of records. I think I played it on my stream maybe 2 months ago, so 2-3 months ago. And this is a cheap record, or back then at least there was copies available for about $10. It's a double LP.
Oh,
How long will it remain so? Because this is really exceptional in this sort of postmodernist experimental electronic music scene. Especially since this music was mostly bought on CD, since this was released in 2000. And back then, they did vinyl, a vinyl version because they loved it, but very few people cared for it back then. And well,
it looks like, at least through the stream, it looks like a very beautiful edition too.
Yeah. It's a great double LP that you can find for those who were bummed out by the 500 euro mark for the previous record. See, we bring some balance here.
Well, we always do. Thomas.
The only thing I have close to this is the same year, maybe.
See, but still.
Same year. and the year was not even the same as well. It was
Doesn't matter. The song was amazing.
But it was one of my heroes, which you can see the Tribe logo here. In the
Wait.
Tribe is one of my favorite labels of all labels. And in 2020, he made a new record, and from that one, this 7-inch came out. This was the B-side. It has like the same tracks on both sides, but with the extensive here. It only came in 190 copies, but an amazing double-sided 7-inch.
Very nice. I think now after that amazing song, maybe it's time to tell that at the 30th of May and the 31st of May, if you are here in the area of Düsseldorf or Wuppertal and want to meet up with Thomas, maybe Stanti, I don't know, if you want to come, we open the record store on the 30th and 31st of May. We make a big opening party. Thomas will come. A lot of people will be there. So if you are in the area, feel free to join us. It will be an amazing evening. Right, Thomas?
It will be, yeah. I'll bring some rare records that I'll bring back and forth for those days if somebody.
Nice. Stanti, what do you do at the weekend? Do you hear him, Thomas? I don't hear him. No, we don't hear you.
Sorry. Yeah. That weekend, normally I'm supposed to be at the festival site to help do some stuff, but I'm still like we'll talk. Let's talk this weekend, Michael, to see if something can be
There's
done.
no obligation, of course. It's
No, but
hey, yeah, we already skipped it. So yeah, we will see. I can't wait for it. 2.5 weeks to go. Will be fun. Stanti, how did you like that song? That was really cool, wasn't it?
yeah, he's cool, like electric, funky jazz. Yeah, really cool. Funnily enough, there was a guy who had what was his name again? I'm not sure. Basically, a guy who came from Miami originally, who had a label called Shocklight Industries, who actually released some of the early Amon Contact or like Carlos Nino's music, if I remember correctly. I think he was the one to put Tribe back on the map. He did a sort of a compilation, and when he migrated to Chicago, and he had a French girlfriend, and I met him a couple of times in Paris in the early 2000s, and we talked about all that. And I mean, I think like Tribe is essentially like it's really American music to its core in in the best possible ways, I would say. But yeah, it's quite interesting to see how it's become like a cult label that people can name drop nowadays, when for the longest time it was like almost in the gutters of music history. Because there is also like a political dimension to the work that we're doing, but yeah.
Is there?
Oh yeah, I mean, just the name, Michael, of the label is kind of telling you some of what you need to know about. But I thought that since Thomas played a 7-inch and we were kind of on a cruise, on a boat cruise mode, I would make the cruise go further deep in towards probably more towards the Bermuda Triangle or something like that. How about that, guys?
Let's sink that boat then.
Let's vanish that boat with puffs of whatever that is.
Someday we'll live under the ground with glass roofs letting in the lights. At night
By the way, just renamed the stream. A trip with the Loveboat. So you even got us through the Bermuda Triangle, Stunty. Thank you.
Yeah.
What was it?
So this is, I guess my favorite band, Pram, from Birmingham. This is right when they left Too Pure, or when they were dropped by Too Pure, their label. And before they found a new label, they did a couple of 7 inches and an EP before they went. They were signed to Domino, and this is amazing. This is sort of like a drunken cruise for the space age, and I think Thomas will agree with me that there was a lot of dub also in the aesthetic of this, the way it was produced. And the sound of the guitars, the sound of the bass, just absolutely stunning. And it's funny, like going through all these little inserts, look at the prices of the records from that label back then, including postage. 2p,
Nice.
£2, £2.50 or £3 for a 7-inch.
Tell us,
Including
when
postage.
did it come out? I think you didn't mention that. Tell the people.
I think this was probably 96, around 96, 97. And funnily enough, I found inside of it like a flyer of a gig they did around Paris, where I actually was asked to play the bass for that band. So I did open for them as well. Complete accident, but
I don't know
yeah.
if Stunty can do that because he's on his cell phone, so that would be quite complicated, right?
No, I'm on the computer, but it's. I mean, we show the records, and then you can pose on that. But I understand. Yeah, it would be nice if I have the energy. I'll try to do that as well.
But, I get that you're on a different mood when you do this kind of stuff than typing. I totally get the same here.
On my Friday streams, I'm lucky enough to have someone who does it for me. Otherwise, yeah, it's. But yeah, we'll try. We'll see. Oh, okay, so Zeb is saying it was from 1997, so close enough. And but really, Pram. I think they're supposed to release a new record maybe this year.
Really?
Yeah, after a
Are
hiatus
you
of.
in hope, or are you afraid?
I'm a bit afraid, since their last album under their name was also a reunion, and that was the first record of theirs I didn't like. But they've been around since '89, and well, there's nothing like Prime. When you see them live, they have usually they have a theremin, mellotron. Like, it's, as you could hear the sounds there, it's just such a unique world. A mixture of post-punk, dub, jazz, exotica. I don't know. It's really, really special, and I have almost all their records. So it's a band to cherish, I think.
By the way, as here are a lot of German people right now here at the OBC too, I just want to do a little shout out for the Vinyl Dreamscape. He also has an amazing, if you like this music here, his channel also covers our kind of music we play here and we talk about here. So if you're interested in that, the Vinyl Dreamscape is also a very good place to go for you. Thomas, from Pram to
1970. That year, somebody just wanted to sound like Jimi Hendrix.
okay.
Think if you pray, something will answer your prayer. You know you do. Well, you might pray now on to 20 years. Oh yeah. And all you'll get is just 20 years older. You know you will. By then your burden will be too much for your shoulder. In reality, will cause your fantasies to die and call
was no secret that the hero was Jimi Hendrix. They made 2 albums, 1970, 1972, and with this bluesy feeling of Jimi Hendrix, there are quite some good tracks on both albums. If you're into that kind of music. And it's put out on Chess. I'll just show.
Wait. Yes. Chess Records. Nice. So a lot of people liked that and already knew about it.
Yeah, it's not a secret LP, but it's not that easy to find anymore.
Okay. Not that easy to find makes me always nervous when it comes from you. Do you agree?
I'm so used to it. I'm not nervous anymore. Like I take it for granted. I'm almost like when Thomas plays something that is easy to find. I'm like, what is going on here? Like there's something something crooked is going on right now that we don't know about.
But that was quite enjoyable, right? You cannot go wrong with music like that in a way.
Well, it's funny. I thought it was literally, as Thomas said, it was a pastiche of Hendrix. Sure, you can find some differences, but like this would not exist if not for Hendrix, 100%. Like,
No.
So it is a pastiche. And I guess if you like Jimi Hendrix, then you're happy that stuff like that exists.
Wait, who the fuck is this?
Oh,
goodbye.
Yeah, good choice, Michael.
Yeah. So, Stunty, give us some Jimi Hendrix now.
I'll play some guitar music now. A record that is very dear to me, that I think is very instrumental to something that happened in the late 90s, early 2000s. And it's something quite intense, but in a very narcoleptic fashion. Let's put it that way. So let's go. jump on it. And this goes on for probably another 10 minutes or so.
Okay.
Yeah, this is
There
like
has
whole.
been- There has been some krautrock mentionings in the gallery.
I mean, obviously,
Yeah, in a way, yes, but yeah, in a way, yes.
come
it
on.
makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense.
If you
Because-
think of like as they say, the live gigs by Amandul, Can,
Emendule was the things that come.
but this is also American primitive music, like coming from the John Fahey perspective, with these guitar sounds that are 100% American. You wouldn't think this is German when you hear the guitar, because these guys actually, they're really, really good musicians. But this is obviously meant as something else than a showcase of dexterity or that. This is ritual, trance-like music, and yeah, it's just absolutely perfect. When this was released as a CDR, I think in 2000, it took like the indie scene by storm.
Mhm.
For those who managed to hear it, everyone was like, "What is this? This is incredible!" And then they reissued both volumes. The band is called the Tower Recordings, by the way, for those who haven't figured it out. They were reissued as two individual LPs, and also as this double pack, steel screen on all sides.
Cover art again is, of course,
It's,
how you need to have it. Yeah.
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 And this is actually pretty rare. Like there were, as Sean mentioned, there are 2 copies available for 40, around, one in the UK, one in the US. Like these records are really the kind of records that in the future people will obsessively collect. They've did quite a few other records, but I still think this is their best. But like if I find this for under $50 in the store, I would buy more copies of this, because yeah, it's so unique in many ways. And someone, the hipster, said it is very monotonous. Yes, it is 100%, but that's the whole point. That's how you get into a trance. You can't get into a trance when Carlos Santana is soloing. That doesn't work.
Some people might.
Yeah, well, then
And
that's the drugs talking.
Louis Mon, that's not what. That's not what's
What did you think of that, Thomas?
Yeah, I will look. I was so happy to hear there was 2 records, but it's so difficult to buy from UK and America. Else I will have bought it right away. It's yeah. I'm going to London next week, so I might buy it and ship it to there.
Yeah.
That's
That's
smart.
how I do it. Exactly. You buy it and you ship it where you buy it, and then you figure out the way to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stanti, I know.
Yeah.
Thomas, a little more rhythm? Not rhythm, a little more melody, maybe.
Yeah, I think some jazz fusion.
Why not? Jazz fusion, you know.
And for a
I'm
long time.
right now. Yeah.
The next 2 records I have on the record player are both French releases. And both artists are from Martinique.
Okay.
All right.
Yon, 2, 3, 4.
high. Come on, babe, just hold my hand. Come on, babe, just hold my hand. And I'll take you to the east of Eden where nobody lives in the dark. Viens danser, je t'emmènerai. Viens danser, je t'emmènerai sur mon cheval jusqu'au pays d'Éden dans un jardin rempli de miel.
La paix, toute baille belle, pas ni rien qui l'aide. Bagaille, c'est au fat.
And make it dance around like a crazy silver horse. Simplement pour toi, je pourrais arrêter le soleil au lasso et le faire danser comme un grand cheval de feu. Oh, just for you, I could fly higher than an eagle and still hop for the moon, so that I'll make a crown for you. Je pourrais voler aussi haut que le plus grand des oiseaux du désert et voler un quartier de lune pour t'en faire une couronne. Peace in the world, peace in your heart. Oh, simplement pour toi, je pourrais plonger aussi loin que le plus grand des poissons de la mer et t'en ramener vivant, joyau de l'océan. Babe, simplement pour toi, just for you, babe. good. Come on, baby, just hold my hand. Come on, baby, just hold my hand, and I'll take you to the east of Eden when nobody leaves me now.
What a ride.
Yeah, that was a different ride. I don't think I have any record sounding like this. It's one of the labels I collect everything on. That's easy with this one. I think there's 5 releases, FM production. But they're difficult to get all of them, so that's another thing. But some of them are disco tracks, some are little bit more rockies, and this one is like a jazz fusion thing from 1980. Roland Brival, yeah. He's from Martinique, I think.
Yeah. And the FM label is, I mean, they got, I think, 6 releases, which is mostly known because they had a bunch of records by Cassave, which was huge in France, in the Zouk world. But I love that record. That's probably my favorite record you played in weeks, Thomas. I think it's absolutely stunning, that record.
Yeah, it's an amazing record. I like it as well, and it's always something new to listen to it because it's so different from everything else.
It's it's very rare, very expensive, but I discovered it through a reissue of it from 20 years ago or so from a guy who worked at Paris Jazz Corner in Paris. He had a label called ISMA, which has released funnily enough, a connection to last week, he released an EP of Jeff Gilson remixed by Fortet.
Oh.
So on the same label as the reissue, the only official reissue of that record.
Okay, Stunty, you have something similar or go into a completely different angle?
Well, I'll have some... my favorite record of the year, which I played in 2 streams before already. I even had one member of that band on my French stream. It's French singing. It's actually traditional folk music from France from who knows when, you know, like the oral tradition when you don't know who wrote the song originally. And it's 3 guys from the French Brittany on the coast there in Vendée who did... it's sort of like an ethnomusicology project, but they kind of did their own take on these traditional songs. It's like a cappella with some instrumentation. And when you know about music, it's quite interesting how they went to harmonic modes that were from before England took over the popular music world. So it will sound very melodic, but at the same time, you will probably hear there's something a little bit hard to the music. Also, the texts are very intense. But like, if you don't understand French, then it's just what it is. But it is my favorite record of the year so far. So let's see.
Allons faire un tour en ville pour m'y promener dedans. Allons faire un tour en ville pour m'y promener dedans. En mon chemin rencontre une bergère des champs. Elle est à l'ombre mon aimant. La mignonnette est à l'ombrage. Elle est à l'ombre mon aimant. La mignonnette est à l'ombrage. En mon chemin rencontre une bergère des champs. En mon chemin rencontre une bergère des champs. Je lui demandai, la belle, combien gagnez-vous par an? Elle est à l'ombre, mon aimant. La mignonnette est à l'ombrage. Elle est à l'ombre, mon aimant. La mignonnette est à l'ombrage. Je lui demandai, la belle, combien gagnez-vous par an? Je lui demandai, la belle, combien gagnez-vous par an? Je gagne 600 francs, dit-elle, une paire de gants blancs. Elle est à l'ombre, mon aimant. La mignonnette est à l'ombrage. Elle est à l'ombre, mon aimant. La mignonnette est à l'ombrage. Je gagne 600 francs, dit-elle, une paire de gants blancs. Je gagne 600 francs, dit-elle, une paire de gants blancs. Venez-y chez moi, la belle, vous en gagnerez autant. Elle est à l'ombre, mon aimant. La mignonnette est à l'ombrage. Elle est à l'ombre, mon aimant. La mignonnette est à l'ombrage. Venez-y chez moi, la belle, vous en gagnerez autant. Venez-y chez moi, la belle, vous en gagnerez autant. Et vous n'aurez d'autre peine qu'à tenir mon linge blanc. Elle est à l'ombre, mon aimant. La mignonnette est à l'ombrage. Elle est à l'ombre, mon aimant. La mignonnette est à l'ombrage. Et vous n'aurez d'autre peine qu'à tenir mon linge blanc. Et vous n'aurez d'autre peine qu'à tenir mon linge blanc. Vous coucherez avec ma mère, avec moi le plus souvent. Elle est à l'ombre, mon aimant. La mignonnette est à l'ombrage. Elle est à l'ombre, mon aimant. La mignonnette est à l'ombrage. Vous coucherez avec ma mère, avec moi le plus souvent. Vous coucherez avec ma mère, avec moi le plus souvent. Je ne couche point avec homme que je n'épouse auparavant. Elle est à l'ombre, mon aimant. La mignonnette est à l'ombrage. Elle est à l'ombre, mon aimant. La mignonnette est à l'ombrage. Je ne couche point avec homme que je n'épouse auparavant. Je ne couche point avec homme que je n'épouse auparavant. À l'église, à la sainte table, devant Dieu tous mes parents. Elle est à l'ombre, mon aimant. La mignonnette est à l'ombrage. Elle est à l'ombre, mon aimant. La mignonnette est à l'ombrage. À l'église, à la sainte table, devant Dieu tous mes parents. À l'église, à la sainte table, devant Dieu tous mes parents. La couronne sur la tête, les rubans volant au vent. Elle est à l'ombre, mon aimant. La mignonnette est à l'ombrage. Elle est à l'ombre, mon aimant. La mignonnette est à l'ombrage. La couronne sur la tête, les rubans volant au vent. La couronne sur la tête, les rubans volant au vent. Quand je serai marié, j'y coucherai tout mon content. Elle est à l'ombre, mon aimant. La mignonnette est à l'ombrage. Elle est à l'ombre, mon aimant. La mignonnette est à l'ombrage. Quand je je serai marié, j'y coucherai tout mon content. Quand je serai marié, j'y coucherai tout mon content. Mais tant que je serai fidèle à mon amant. Elle est à l'ombre mon aimant, la mignonnette est à l'ombrage. Elle est à l'ombre mon aimant, la mignonnette est à l'ombrage.
Oh, Stunty. You know why you played that song? I had the urge to log into Dark Age of Camelot, go to the Smiths and forge another equipment for my char.
Well, it's interesting, some of the comments, as I'm going to be a little bit technical there. It is not medieval. It is after the, like, that music couldn't exist in the medieval time. But of course, for us, I understand how we would put it all, like it is between 1200 and 1600 kind of thing. Although, as you could hear the instrumentation, you would have the three guys singing together, and then you would start to hear a drone, un bourdon, which is basically could be made by a hurdy-gurdy, or in this case, a violin that was just playing the same key in a sustained way, and it was creeping up, 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 and that didn't exist in folk music, this kind of instrumentation, which is why this is music from now, and why it is relevant that way. The way it was orchestrated is also very interesting. They basically sent the guitar, the violin player, the recording, and he improvised a lot of different channels of the violin, and then they arranged it to it. So it's the way it was done is it's extremely modern. So, which is why I think there's this sort of contrast and dynamic that makes it very timeless. Obviously, also the kind of topic that if you don't understand French, you wouldn't get it. But I suspect you still get like the essence of the emotions there. Or I hope so.
Did you show the record, Stunt?
So, so the record is called Tartine de Clou, which means toast of nail, which is kind of fitting as
What?
well.
Nail toes?
Yeah, nail toast. And the name of the album, Comptez
Not
les dents.
toast.
Like a tartine, like a toast.
Okay, I thought nail toes. Nails from the toe. Okay.
Tartine de Clou and Comptez les dents, counting the teeth. So it has a very, like, peasant, like people who had to work with their hands quality. And like it came out on a small Belgium label a couple of months ago. They only did 300 copies of it, which I understand because, like, I mean, who is expecting anyone to be interested in stuff like that? It is their third album, I would say, but by far their best one, in my opinion, because it has these modern takes on instrumentation for this. And there is currently a huge wave of young musicians taking into their own hands the folklore of the Occitan tradition, the region that is kind of between, it's not the Basque country, but it's it's kind of the same, and they have their own language, their own music, and there's a lot of new young bands doing modern music influenced by that. And I think it's very fitting of our time when we don't really know where we're going, when we're trying to figure out our identity, where we're coming from, who we should be. And there's two ways to do that in a way that, like, being true to yourself, to your origins, can make you open to the rest of the world, because you can show who you are, which is a way to welcome others. Or it can be the other way around. This is who we are, and we don't want anyone to put, to soil the essence of who we are.
Yeah. But musically, there is no connection to these neo-folk bands like
No.
Current 23 or something?
No, nothing. It's something very different, and I think way more authentic. But So I hope some of you liked it, but I can understand how it could be a difficult sell. What did you think,
No,
Thomas?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think every now and then there is something like that, especially this song is really refreshing and very, very interesting. You don't hear that.
Yeah, it's. But I think we're gonna hear more and more stuff like that.
Okay, interesting. We will see. We will see next year, or does it take longer?
I think it's already kind of here. So yeah, even next year, like I could already do like a whole hour or 2 hour stream of only modern bands doing music, not exactly like that, but going back to a tradition and this instrumentation. I mean, the hurdy-gurdy has become an instrument that a lot of bands use now because it has this sonic quality that is so unique.
Yeah.
And when you use it, well, the kind of music it was made for, or when it was invented, like that's the kind of music. So yeah.
Thomas, any hurdy-gurdies on your next record?
I would say if there's any for sale, there'll be one less this evening.
Oh, you like it? Oh no.
Tout pas tout fait main, 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 tout pas tout fait main. Chinois l'a dit moi pas ni di riz, Indien l'a dit moi pas ni di fée, Arabes l'a dit moi pas ni couscous, et Juif l'a dit moi pas ni l'argent. Tout l'hôtel complet. Aïe 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 mon Dieu, faut que mes capes fait. Tout pas tout fait main, tout pas tout fait main. Tout pas tout fait main, tout pas tout fait main, tout pas tout fait main. tout fait main, tout fait main. Chinois la dit moi pas ni diri. Arabes la dit moi pas ni pétrole. Et juif la dit moi pas ni l'argent. Moi pas ni le fait pour les mains cigarettes là.
Yes, we were back with a French release from Martinique, and I'm not even sure I will tell the name. Is it Henri Goudon?
Henri Guédon.
Oh,
Goudon.
that wasn't too bad. Come on, Stunty.
Yeah.
Better than your
It was
German.
horrible, Michael. Try it, Michael. Let's see if you.
Henri Guidon.
Yeah, see, that was perfect.
No, that wasn't perfect.
Henri Guédon. Yeah, no, it's a stellar record. It's funny how people would hear Brazil in it, and I can understand why. But at the same time, this music was played like that in the Antilles, Martinique, etc., since the mid '60s. So
Yeah, I'm
this
saying
is
like Afro-Cuban jazz feeling to it.
Yeah.
For sure.
With a little bit bossa nova into it.
Yeah, it's Henri Guédon. He's I think he became way more famous in France of late. These records that were not like huge records back when they were released. It was local, and it didn't really travel. Like, it's interesting to see a difference between the UK and France back then, the post-colonialism. In the UK, most of the West Indies music was accepted and part of the culture in the UK, whereas in France, not really. Like, it took a few generations of people who are music lovers and diggers to really embrace that. It was never popular like bossa nova was in Brazil, or like reggae was in the UK, which is unfortunate. Now it's like this. I think it got reissued by Superfly a few years ago, maybe 15, 20 years ago or something. No, 15, yeah. But it's something that a lot of new French labels are embracing the heritage from the music of the colonies and or the dom-tom, because Martinique is still France, and it's not really a colony; it's something in between. But
You're in a scholar mode tonight.
I mean, I know this. It's my.
I love that.
Yeah.
We all love your expertise.
But
much-
yeah, it's. I don't know, like. Finding a good copy of this nowadays, like I want one. I've never seen a good copy of it.
Stunty, once again, it's a Thomas record. What did you expect?
No, it's a French record.
Today is almost also a French evening in a way. A lot of French music.
Yeah.
Play
some, at
something.
least, yeah.
Play something German, Stunty, or Danish.
I'll play something even more German than German,
Oh,
politically.
that's sad. Okay.
funny that Onervoff was thinking about how it's a shame we can't know how music sounded before we got temperated notated music, and this is kind of closest we could get in Europe from that. As yes, it is Hungarian, and it is a music tradition that is outside of that Western type of music. And it is to be noted that now his name escapes me, but like one of the biggest Hungarian composer from the early 20th century, who was one of the first modern classical musicians to be influenced and included folklore music in his work, is from Hungary. And you could hear the violin on this, obviously, but behind it, there was also a hurdy-gurdy. So Musikash is a band from the western countryside of Hungary, and they're doing a style of music called népzene, which has existed forever. But by the early mid-70s, a group of musicians, of which Musikash was the leading group, again reappropriated that folklore, as I was saying about this Tartine de Clou now, 50 years later, and induced in it modern techniques, ideas that were coming from the avant-garde, and making that music suddenly way more relevant than it had been in hundreds of years. So much so that this is actually a UK pressing. The singer, Marta Zebestinen, here's another album of hers that is also on the Hannibal label in the UK. But most of the records, you can still find them on the cheap as Hungarian pressings, and it's no, not Smetana, no, Népzene. Or is he talking about the region? Maybe then I don't know enough.
But I don't think that Smetana is the reason, the region.
Well,
Yeah.
but it's music that when I discovered it 3-4 years ago, I was like, wow, this is so outside of everything that I know in terms of musical scale and the rhythm. Also, you could hear like the tempo changes in this track. I mean, it was not huge, but still, it's not something you get in folklore, in modern and Western music anymore. Bela Bartok, thank you, Luis Mon, the composer who introduced folklore music in modern classical music. And ever since then, it's been a fascinating rabbit hole, which I've kind of finished that. Like, there's only odds and ends that I'm still after, and these records are often dirt cheap. Like, most of these records you will get for less than €5 or €5 or less, if you're looking.
Gentlemen,
But there is, a lot of reward.
It's the time of the evening. You need to get the ship now into the harbor. Meaning that Thomas is presenting us his harbor song, and then we blend out with Dante.
The harbor song for tonight is also Friends.
Oh, wow, it's a French.
السياس الفن سعاد الخضار الأخبار يكسر الميزان
العزم ذنيك سلن القبرك مقفار لمت ليك سراون أقرانا كي ديرو السان وين يجوسانا كي قدار إيكي عشقا ذنيك ساون من الفن السق قليليس لمية أدك صديون وإذا كيتميزن تغضنيت ندونيت روح النيغب على فرنسن قراند إمختفن ذات وذمون بريكيت على نتعيشي بالسيف كارسن ثلاثة مشاه وصغار يماس يحفظ يتيب ويزيد يشويق هادي بدو هادي اسمو السوس ميكسر راحي وقرجوميس امو شنيك تعويق اسمنا ضي حد الكرموس اسر صدر في ميس نغمولاش يغدير نادي الخيق ياكل مشوحة الله ورمت مغارين أما أنا ماشي للفن فقني ياكل مدن ثورة أو إذا كي تغنين صخر مثل مخنون أمسلايت غفير الرقسة ياكل توارخن الوالدين أنسيني الفرورخن
That was interesting disco music. Oh, my picture again. Sorry. Wow.
Yeah, and it's from 1976.
Crazy.
And the artwork, I think, is crazy for that that period.
Oh,
Well, yeah. It didn't cost much, that artwork, but it paid off.
It paid off, yeah.
Yeah, but that's amazing. Come on, Santi, you loved it.
Oh yeah, I know. It's funny because that la 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 la
Almost a
la.
little bit like Schlager, but
No, it has been, that melody has been covered in like it's kind of become a sort of underground classic, and yeah, really really cool record.
And he made it as one of his first records. This one in 1976, and he made, I don't know the other. He had maybe made 20 albums, but I don't know any of those. But he started like this.
And when you say French, yeah, French, but
Please.
like in the sense that at one point France owned quite a lot of the world, but doesn't mean that the world doesn't own itself. But yeah, it's a great record.
Stanti, what will you present us at the
Well,
end of the evening? Tell us before, please, because
Yeah.
like always we blend out at the last song.
We're also gonna go to a place that the people don't associate with France anymore, rightfully so, but that used to be France. We're gonna go on a very, very modern night ride in Cairo.
Cairo, okay.
Cairo,
Right.
but like imagine Cairo 2026, and your host is what's the name of that Danish director, Vin Refn?
Nikolaj Refn.
Yeah, imagine if he's taking you on a trip in nighttime Cairo. This is Rosma.
Rosma.
Rosma. Rosma.
Rosma. Let's get it.
Rosma. Rosma.
حط من علن دايما قتلك حط من علن دايما قتلك حط من علن اسمه دعوي سوشيك اسمه اجمد من علن ونكتقم ننبب حط من علن دايما قتلك حط من علن دايما قتلك طب حط 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 على طب حط 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 على كمان عدد طب حط من علن أدعي فك دمام طب حط من علن أدعي فك دمام حط من علن اسمه داوي سوشيك اسمه أجمد من علن داوي